You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. By going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com, you can make this possible. And folks, more drama today in Washington, D.C. over the whole issue of impeaching Donald Trump. Democrats want to narrow this whole thing down to solely this Ukraine issue, as opposed to the Mueller report and things along those lines. I personally think that is a mistake. You also have now Donald Trump meeting with the National Rifle Association, asking them, according to the New York Times, to pay for or help him in his defense. Wayne LaPierre, heads the NRA, says, okay, we'll do that, but you cannot pursue any gun laws. Talk about quid quo pro. Mustafa, it's interesting to see how Republicans are operating. They keep trying to throw out Joe Biden's corrupt. It's been well established that that just simply ain't gonna fly. Now that same whistleblower is in his complaint says that they were placing these calls on a different server to keep it out of hands, a private server, which, okay, shows another motive there as well. And the pressure is on Republicans. You have Jeff Flake, a former senator, who says that if there was a private vote, 30 to 35 Republicans would vote for impeachment. Well, that shows that those Republicans have no guts, because if you think privately he should be impeached, well, then you should have the guts to do it publicly. And so Democrats also want to rush this. There's talk of actually having a vote by November. Smart or a mistake?
I think that you have to kind of move forward. You got to get the facts in place, but I think that there is momentum now to move forward on the inquiry and then to take it to the next level if folks have found everything that's in alignment to actually, move forward. And I'm one who believes, that if you allow too much time to pass, marketing firms, all these other folks will get into the game. They'll try and muddy the water. They'll try and lessen the impacts that currently are going on from the president, from what we've seen so far. These things that he has done in relationship to the Ukraine and this pay to play, and if you'll go out and find this dirt on Joe Biden, then I'll move these billions in your direction. Folks got to stand up and do the right thing. All these folks took an oath. They took an oath to help to protect the country. I see this as actually damaging the country. And we had a big conversation today, actually, in the airport around some conspiracy things and some other things that folks were talking about. And people on both sides of the aisle are starting to actually see the trueness of who the president currently is. So, that old adage, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. He's being very clear with who he is. Yeah,
I think it's actually a mistake to rush it. I believe you have to properly lay this thing out and unfold it for the American people. This is the end of September. We're about to go into October. If you talk about trying to have a vote by November, what? No hearings? Hearings, I believe, serve a purpose. I believe the hearings allows for you to call witnesses, to lay out exactly what took place. I also think it's a mistake to limit it just to Ukraine. I think you have to show the breadth and the depth of the insanity in this administration. I think showing the obstruction of justice in the Mueller report, showing how they have ignored subpoenas, how they are trying to assert executive privilege where none exists, I think causes the American people to say, damn, wait, hold up. Boom, 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 boom. The thing is just bigger than just this one incident, because if you limit it to one incident, Republicans say, oh, this is just one thing. That, to me, I think is still a mistake.
Well, and I think part of the strategy may be, at least on this one thing, they can kind of move forward with the impeachment in the House. Of course, when it goes to the Senate, and there's a hearing there, we know much is not going to happen in the Senate. Mitch McConnell has pretty much said, this isn't happening on my watch.
Well, first of all, he has to do it.
He has to do it,
by the Constitution.
By law,
he can,
but he doesn't have to vote to
right. But this is not like a bill where he can just ignore it. He has to have an actual trial.
He has to have the trial. But again, if you've already decided at the beginning what you're going to do, right, that no amount of information is actually going to change anything about the way you or the other Republican senators are going to vote, then it's just an exercise, right? And I think that's partly what Democrats are concerned about, in part because American people's reticence to do this is thinking about the cost that it will entail. This will cost hundreds of millions of dollars. Now, I happen to think that that's actually money well spent if you're thinking about the sanctity of this democracy and thinking about the integrity of the office. But I think people are a little squeamish. I mean, people remember the Clinton hearings and thinking about all that had wrapped up in it. It looked like political theater because
but that was about sex.
Absolutely.
I think that was.
But the point is, he's going to make the claim. This is just about a friendly phone call. It's nothing.
Well, of course, but still, I think he's called this a witch hunt. The difference there was you were literally having an impeachment hearing over sex.
Yes.
Not trying to get a foreign nation
to
interfere in an election after we already have numerous intelligence agencies laying out how the Russians tried to interfere in 2016. So I think even though it's a spectacle, I think that's a different sort of thing.
It was a, you can call it a moral failing, you can call it a personal failing, whatever you want. I do think the thing, though, that still sticks with people, right, is that this looked like a moment that it was about nothing. And I think for his supporters, they will say this is about nothing. And I do agree with you, though, that doing this, right, gives the Democrats and gives the Congress the investigatory ability to look more deeply. And it may be just the Ukraine today, but we don't know where this thing stops because there was also talk on that same phone call about them the Ukrainian president staying at a Trump hotel, a business that he's not divested himself of as of today as a sitting president. There was the talk about buying U.S. missiles, buying U.S. oil. There was a lot of conversation about a lot of different kinds of things in that phone call. So we don't know how deep this is going to be. And this is what they're saying today, right? But we don't actually know how long this is going to take. And it could take months. And I think it should take months.
Teresa, again, what you have here is Democrats should not be afraid of months of hearings. They shouldn't be. I think what you're seeing Democrats say is if we can hurry up and have this vote, then it won't be happening in the middle of primary season. It should be. I mean, again, it's this whole notion of let's hurry up. The public, they can't just sort of wait for it. Let the Republicans lie. Let them spin. Let them keep saying, oh, this is amount to nothing. You keep dropping that hammer every single day, and you see lie, 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 lie. It adds up.
Absolutely, it adds up. And so one thing about Republicans are once they get the talking point, they stick to it. And they stick to it like nobody's business. Most of them that I know, they stick to it better than Democrats. And because they stick to that same talking point, that talking point will be the ruin of their the basis of what this entire issue is. And so I think, I agree with you. I know I agree with you, not I think. I agree with you as it relates to extending this out, having the inquiry, having those dialogues, pulling out the extensive talking points and the bullets that really will connect with the American people so they can have an understanding of the case in its entirety. Because in its entirety right now, it just shows, Donald Trump being cavalier. I just had a phone conversation. We congratulate each other. We're building a relationship, a rapport, which is not the case. The case is that you're doing abuse of power, that you're conveying abuse of power, and that you're making sure that your administration is also utilizing their powers for the misdeeds of what the office is supposed to do for the American people.
Well, again, I think what you're seeing here, you're going to see lots of back and forth. Democrats, I believe, are making a mistake if they want to try to just hurry up and do this whole deal. Again, you must spell things out. And again, every time the Republicans try to spin, you got to nail them on it. Even Chris Wallace at Fox News blasted their spin, saying it makes no sense whatsoever. And so we'll certainly see what is going to happen next. All right, folks, back to our Roland Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment. folks, November 7th through the 11th, we'll be in Cabo, Mexico. That's right, for the Luxe Jazz experience. Gerald Albright, my alpha brother, will be one of the folks who will be performing November 7th through the 11th. We'll be broadcasting Roland Martin Unfiltered there that Thursday and Friday. We want you guys to come out for an amazing 4 days of a wild experience. Talk about music and food and libations and spa and golf, all that good stuff taking place at the Omnia Day Club, Los Cabos, nestled on the Sea of Cortez and the celebrity playground of Los Cabos, Mexico. It's going to be an unbelievable jazz getaway, folks. Again, crazy time we plan on having there. Lots of different mini concerts, daytime excursions, including the Spirit of Jazz Gospel Brunch and Jazz Sunset Cruise. Confirmed guest, comedian actor Mark Curry. As I said, Joel Albright, Alex Bouillon, Raul Madon, Incognito, Pieces of a Dream, Kirk Whalum, Average White Band, Donnie McClurkin, Shalea, Roy Ayers, Tom Brown, and Ronnie Laws, Ernest Quarles, and more. For more information, go to lifeluxejazz.com. That's LifeluxeJazz.com. Again, we're going to have a great time. I want to see you guys there. Again, November 7th through the 11th. While everybody else is freezing all across the country, we're going to be having a good time there in Los Cabos. And so I'm looking forward to do it. So again, lifeluxejazz.com. Get your packages now, book your airfare. Let's have a hell of 4 days. Grown folks, you know how we do. All right, folks. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.